Hi everybody, happy Tuesday. So today, what wants to come through? Today, the conversation that we're going to have is about judgment. So oftentimes when we are hiding behind procrastination, perfectionism, analysis paralysis, in regards to when it comes to really announcing ourselves in the online world as a spiritual entrepreneur, coming out of the broom closet. When we are playing out in these three, analysis paralysis, perfectionism, and procrastination, oftentimes the underlying frequency beneath that, what's underneath that, is the fear of judgment. We are afraid of what our friends from, you think about your high school friends and your oldest friends who don't really know that you're really spiritual or whatever. We're afraid that they're going to judge us, and more importantly, we're afraid that our family is going to judge us. And that is very much an ancient wounding that we carry with us, because in order for our survival, as when we were in tribes and way back when we lived off the land, way before we had all these technologies and stuff, when we had to live in a tribe to survive, if we got kicked out of that tribe, we would die. We would starve to death. We would freeze to death. It wouldn't be long before we couldn't survive. And so it is very much conditioned into the human psyche that we must be accepted in order to survive. So the fear of judgment is probably one of the number one things that I see women hold themselves back because they're afraid of what other people will think. And this, you can look at the whole web of it. I mean, this can come from unworthiness. This can come up from being, bullied as a kid. But regardless, the fear of judgment, the thing is, the people that judge you, those old friends, those old family, or those family members, they're going to judge you no matter what you do. And they're going to judge you if you don't show up and announce yourself and do your thing and create your wildest dreams and, leave the relationship that doesn't serve you. Or they're going to judge you if you play small, and they're going to judge you if you be big, regardless, because that's how they are. And their perception of reality, their perception of themselves, their perception of their identity is reliant on the stories and the narratives that they've created for you. So we have two options. Are we going to continue to hold ourselves back because we're afraid of the judgment from our family and from old friends? Or do we just completely say, F it, they're going to judge me regardless, and show up and do the thing, right? So oftentimes the people, when we do start growing ourselves bigger, announcing ourselves online, saying, hey, I'm a healer, or whatever it is that you're claiming to be, the loudest ones that are against you creating this for yourselves are the family that they don't want to look at themselves. They don't want to do their own inner work. And as long as you're playing it small and safe and follow out on the identities that they put on you, they can stay comfortable in their own realm and perspective of things. But when you start to get big and shake up, they want to try to keep you small because it keeps them more comfortable. And it's a very, very uncomfortable growing period because when you are receiving judgment from your family and so forth. But you finally get to a point where you see yourself and love yourself so much and purely that it doesn't matter what they say and think about you. Because whether you play it small or whether you allow yourself to be big, they're going to judge you no matter what. And those aren't your people. And this might be hard to hear, especially if it's family or friendships that you've had for 20 some years. But if they judge you for deciding to do something different, deciding to show up to your soul's calling, they're not your people. Unless if you are doing harm to yourself or others, nobody has any right to judge you. They have no authority to speak into your reality and change the way that you perceive things and show up. They have no authority for it, unless if you're actually causing harm. So what I say is fuck what the other people are saying and what they're judging about, because they're not your people at all. They're not your supporters. They're not your tribe. And your people that are aligned with your soul's essence, that are aligned with your true self, They're waiting for you to show up as your true self. They're waiting for you to stop giving your power away to the people that view you still in the lensing of that little girl or that rebellious teenager who fucked up a lot. They don't want to see you in your true light, and so they can't see you in your true light. And when you start to really expand out of these old stories and show up, they're going to be throwing shade at you regardless. So when you stop giving those people your power and give yourself all of that love and acceptance that you probably will never get from them, that's when you can show up. That's when the people that are ready to receive you for who you truly are, that's when they show up. That's when they can feel you because they are in vibrational resonance with your true self. Okay, so oftentimes, as a spiritual entrepreneur, or even like this may apply to advocating for your needs in a relationship, speaking up for what you want in bed with your partner, setting a boundary in your family, right? This doesn't just apply to being a healer and having an online business. This applies to anything that we're afraid to speak up for ourselves because we're afraid that we're going to be judged. But when we really tap into what's underneath that fear of judgment, when we really ask, what is there? What is this? What I hear is, I'm afraid I'm going to be stoned to death. That ain't mine. That was from like past lives, or that's something that I'm carrying from ancestral times. Am I going to get stoned to death now for speaking my truth? No. And that's the thing too. Like, we carry these witch wounds and these persecution wounds from the really traumatic ancestral experiences that humanity has had. But it is safe in this life to show up and speak your truth, to allow yourself to be seen, to set boundaries, and to create something different for yourself. It is safe. You're not going to die. You might lose family, you might lose friendships, but guess what? They weren't solid to begin with. If those people are not for your success, they are not for you being who you truly are, they're not your people. And when you let them go, it makes way for the soul aligned to come in. It makes way for your true people, your soul aligned clients, your besties, your soulmates, your partner. Like, the most amazing people will come into your field because you actually have space to receive them. You don't have all this weird shady energy getting thrown at you by people that are throwing stones at anybody that's trying to do something different with their lives, right? So if you feel scared to come out online as a healer, as a spiritual entrepreneur, start to go through your friends list and remove the people that make you feel unsafe on your social media. And that might be a little like dicey thing to do, but if they are making you feel uncomfortable in a space that is actually what I see as an extension of my soul, as a place where I can express myself, as a place that I can share and serve, if they're making you feel unsafe in that place, they don't belong there. Bless and release, lovingly, take them off your Facebook. I've taken family off my Facebook. And the more that I did that, I was able to show up more of my true self until now. Like, I have some of those old family back on my Facebook, and I can say whatever I want, and I'm good with it because they can throw shade all they want, and I'm good. I'm good because I've done the work that now, like, you can throw your stones at me, but I know who I am, and I know that you will never see me for who I truly am. Maybe they will one day see me for who I truly am, but it would require them to do a lot of inner work on themselves to be able to see themselves before they can see myself. And that is the thing. When it comes to stressed relationship and family dynamic, if they cannot give that love and acceptance to themselves, they are going to have a really hard time being able to give it to you. If they do not have the capacity to give it to themselves, they will have a very difficult time giving it to you. So how can we ask them to give it to us when they can't even give it to themselves? So think about that. And this is where we can come into that compassion and acceptance for wherever they are in their journey. Because the people that throw shade, the people that throw judgment, they're coming from a place of pain. And we don't need to welcome whatever they're throwing at you into here. Bless and release, no thank you. That's your story. It doesn't apply to me. And I know it's really hard to get to this point, but the more you tap into what's in here and begin to see yourself for your true self, you'll be good with whatever's going on over there. And you're going to be calling in those beautiful soul-aligned relationships, and things are just going to start to really click in. So if this lands for you, if you are someone that is afraid of judgment, is afraid of really coming out online as a spiritual entrepreneur or really announcing that you're a healer, if you're someone that has difficulty speaking up for yourself in relationships or like telling your partner what you need and what you desire, if you're someone that really holds yourself back because you're afraid to really be out there in your true, wild, bold self, I invite you to join me to the digital course Seen. Seen is a self-paced digital course which is going to support you to overcome those visibility blocks so that you feel safe and confident to boldly claim your truth, to advocate for your needs, and to be wildly visible online. If you're not a spiritual entrepreneur, if you're not like on the online space, you could totally apply this into your relationships, into the way that you show up in the world. So I'm going to leave the link in the comments, and the early bird pricing, 111 euros off, ends on Friday, which is June 11th. So check it out. Send me messages if you have any questions. And I love you. And I encourage you to show up. Show up, because you're going to get judged regardless, whether you do or not. They're going to judge you. So let's stop giving them that power. Have a beautiful rest of your day, everybody.